Why do we need communications and information management in a project? The challenge of communication in a project can be illustrated by the following slide, which shows how the number of communication challenges drastically increases with the number of participants in the project. So if we have one single person in the project, we have no communication channels. If we have two, there is one channel. If we have three, there are three channels, and so on. When n increases, there's a risk that productivity also decreases unless we are able to manage this number of communication challenges. The purpose of communication planning is to anticipate the project's communication content, to understand the information needs of the different stakeholders, and to choose among a number of channels to be used. Communication planning can be summarized in this diagram. So you should basically answer the 5 following questions. What type of information is needed? Who needs the information? When is the information needed? Who will transmit the information? And what channel is used to transmit the information? If you're able to answer these questions, you have actually covered all the elements of a communication plan. The content and the desired effects, the stakeholders affected by communication and the project, timing, the person responsible for communicating and transmitting information, and the means and the channels used in the project. Raki charts are one typical means of summarizing the communication in a project. And these are widely used among firms. A Raki chart identifies who's responsible, who's accountable, and who should be consulted and who should be informed about certain decisions and information produced in a project. Project documentation essentially serves 4 functions. It can be the result of the project itself. It can be the way we communicate in projects. It can be the means for quality management. And finally, it enables learning from one project to another. There are various needs for documentation throughout the project lifecycle. Various types of documentation are produced throughout the project lifecycle. Even before the project has started, we have typically produced a number of documents, such as a feasibility report, a proposal or bid, and hopefully a contract. During the start, we should create the project description, a project proposal, a preliminary plan, as well as a number of memos from preparation meetings. The major outcome of the planning stage is the project plan, but also descriptions of the product resulting from the project, and again, memos from planning meetings. During implementation and control, we typically produce a high number of review records and intermediate reports, and again, memos from weekly and monthly meetings, as well as other documents specified in the plan. Finally, after closing the project, we should produce a final report, a handover record, maybe a list of deficiencies still to be taken care of, and again, other documents specified in the plan. A specific type of communication in projects is meetings and workshops. There are different types of meetings, and we should figure out what type actually serve our purposes best. So we have ordinary meetings when decisions need to be taken. We might have discussion events when we mainly want to receive new ideas and preliminary thoughts about an upcoming decision. We may use workshops to come up with creative new ideas, or briefings when we simply want to inform the project crew about decisions taken or decisions coming up. For each meeting, we should figure out who should participate, how often we should have the meetings, and what are actually the meeting routines. There's a number of good meeting practices. Each meeting should have a chair who leads the meeting, a secretary who writes the minutes of the meeting. A good agenda is a key to a successful meeting, which basically states the purpose of it. Each item on the agenda should ideally have a responsible person taking care of preparations. The meeting should be time restricted. We should give advance notice of the meeting. And each meeting should have a clear opening and closing. Likewise, each processed issue on the meeting agenda should have a clear beginning and should reach a clear conclusion at the end. Finally, appropriate meetings should be concise, easy to read, and emphasize the actions coming out of the meeting.